Live from various places around the southeast of England, it's F1's newest and most prestigious award show. It's the Giggies! Now please welcome your hosts, Becca, Dan, Emma, Imane, and Sav.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of A Polite Notice, a single-seater podcast. We are here today to celebrate the most special sport on the planet, the most special boys on the planet, Formula One, its drivers, and the people surrounding it. Woo! We are here today to cover our awards that we have fondly called the Giggies after Savannah's little giggly outbursts. Thank you so much to everyone who voted. We reached a whopping total of 44 votes, which is 4 more than our 40 target. So thank you to everyone who voted. Woo! We're going to take it in turns to go through and discuss our awards.
The Master of Red Flags Award for drivers or races that made red flags the main character. And the nominees are Logan Sargent for being red flag adjacent a few times too many for James Vowles, the 2024 Brazilian GP, and Danica Patrick for being a walking red flag.
And the winner is Danica Patrick for being a walking red flag.
Yay! For the first time, I'm so happy that Danica won something in her life.
Jensen Button must be so pleased.
Oh, a sidebar, y'all. You know what? I'm on his ass. Because tell me why he married someone who's exactly like Danica Patrick.
Oh yeah, his wife's also insane.
She's also a Trump supporter.
Yeah, and like big anti-COVID, anti-mask, anti-blah, blah, blah.
You're looking at Danica like she just sprouted up from hell with the second head. Meanwhile, you got Danica 2.0 laying in your bed, and your wife wasn't even the first woman to drive in NASCAR. So sit down there a little bit, buddy.
I mean, I don't know how much anyone has to say about Danica Patrick that hasn't already been said 20 million times by a combination of misogynists and insane people, but...
Listen, I support most women, okay? And now listen, I'm never gonna say I support Casey Anthony because she killed her kid. In the same sense, I'm not gonna say I support Danica Patrick
because she killed Formula One.
Can we just clarify that we're not accusing Danica Patrick of murder?
And see, my thing is like, I remember when, because I grew up on NASCAR, so I remember when Danica Patrick made it into NASCAR. I wouldn't say she did anything that was like very awe-inspiring or newsworthy other than being a woman in NASCAR. So part of me can't help but feel like she's holding other women back for the prestige of being the only woman. Like if another woman stepped in, they would do better than her, and then she would no longer be special to the sport. But it's like, just the fact that you're being a trailblazer is, and you would go so much further and you would do so much better for the sport if you actually supported people of your own gender. Or, okay, my thing is, Danica should be supporting people from marginalized groups that do not have the opportunity to make it to NASCAR. And she's not. And I think she would go so much further if she was. So that's one of my issues. Like, if I was the first person to do something, I do not think I would be able to stop other people from also doing it. I would set things in place to help them. Just like Lewis Hamilton, like his Mission 44 and his diversity initiatives and how he did with F1 Academy. You know, like, he is doing so many things to help. Or Susie Wolf, that's another great example. How she was with Williams and Mercedes.
I mean, just thinking about it, we've got the Alcabasi sisters in the F1 Academy who are also trailblazing for them and for Emirati women. So there's clearly scope and interest in women from different parts of the world being in racing. But, you know, if you don't want to be a part of my feminism by choice, then that's on you, girl.
And also, just one more thing, because as Sav mentioned, when you are in the West specifically, right, and you bring a thought that can be a bit controversial, you affect other people who basically don't have the same prestige or the same opportunity as you. So, for example, like as you mentioned, both of the Emirati sisters, back in the days, Emirati women did not even have the right to drive. So now they do have it. So when you hear, for example, Danica or anyone who has the power and has that prestige already and that privilege saying that, okay, women shouldn't do this and shouldn't do that, you make it even harder for people who basically are trying to come out of that thought and proving everyone else wrong. So you're proving the society right, you're proving some political views right. So, use your privilege and use the mic that you have right into empowering other people that basically didn't have the privilege that you have right now while growing up. So that's pretty much just the main problem, I guess, we most have with Danica.
Yeah, that's a really good point, I think, because it comes from such a place of privilege. And it's like she doesn't even recognize that. She doesn't even understand that. And to each their own, it kind of goes with just because you have $1 billion doesn't mean you have to give the $1 billion away. But it definitely makes everyone think, what is wrong with that person? Why do they have $1 billion and they're not helping anybody? Because it would be so easy to help because you already have your $1 billion.
I think it's very poetic that we're recording this on Jensen Button's 45th birthday. Happy birthday, Jensen. Didn't realise we were going to be starting off our awards quite so controversially.
Joyeux anniversaire.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jensen. Congratulations to Danica for winning the Master of Red Flags Award.
Woohoo! Woo! Technically she's won twice because her president takes office tomorrow, so...
And moving on to the next award.
The Through Goes Hamilton Overtake Award for the most iconic overtakes of the season. And the nominees are Max Verstappen versus everyone in Brazil, Checo on Liam Lawson and Kevin Magnussen in Las Vegas, Oscar Piastri versus Charles Leclerc in Azerbaijan.
And the winner is Max Verstappen versus everyone in Brazil.
Woo! Emma must be thrilled. Just look at her smile.
Brazil, I put it in my top 3 races of the year. I thought it was really, really exciting. And Max just drove like a lunatic in a good way. Formidable. It was just insane that, it was overtake after overtake after overtake. Some of them were really, really just by themselves impressive overtakes anyway. But to go from 17th all the way up, it's ridiculous.
I was going to say, I think it was in my top 3 as well.
I think, so his performance in Brazil was nothing short of, I don't want to say a miracle because it's Max, but it was really surprising to see him go from, I think it was 17th to the first one, especially because his first few overtakes, I think one of the first ones was past Lewis, and I was having flashbacks.
I mean, obviously, some of the overtakes are going to be more challenging than others. It's pretty easy to get past Valtteri Bottas in that Sauber. It's much more difficult to get past George Russell because he's also insane.
Yeah. The ones that were most difficult from what I remember was the one past Lewis and then the one past Oscar, I think.
Oscar's a great defender.
If you look back at the race, he kind of didn't expect Max to overtake when he did because it was slightly further back.
Yeah.
And he kind of did leave the door open for Max. The one on Liam, I can't remember what corner it was, but I did not expect it to be there because I was expecting a little twang between the two of them. Almost had a heart attack.
I love Liam Lawson's style of defending and Max's style of defending are so similar. They are both you want to overtake me, well then come and fucking get it.
Yes.
The irony of this being that they're going to be on the same team this year. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes for them.
Liam Lawson. I'm Liam Lawson.
But to be fair, I guess this win was very much needed for Max because he had so much backlash during those few weeks. People hating on him everywhere and penalties and this and that. So I guess it was literally on the right time to prove everyone wrong. I mean, he always does, but it's just going from such a low spot to winning the race and also very effectively and seamlessly. I guess that was literally the answer that he needed to give everyone without actually speaking, without actually swearing, without actually doing anything. So yeah, it was a masterpiece.
Yeah, it was a big FU to people.
Yeah, but it was also to himself. And he said this before, and I think we mentioned it a couple of times. It was the moment he knew he was going to take home the championship.
And let's also just take a minute for the other nominees. Checo got so much nonsense this season, and that overtake in Vegas, the double overtake in one corner, was sublime and showed that actually he does have a good amount of racecraft and he is a talented Formula One driver. Just it didn't come together for him for one reason or another this year. So
next year, baby, next year.
Heartbroken.
He doesn't have a seat for next year, so 2026.
Somewhere else, I guess. I mean, his father is saying he has potential for other racing formulas, whatever.
Other series.
To be fair, that's his father, and he has to say that he has potential. I do think he has potential, but I think he's probably going to have to move to another series because of the amount of rookies that have came in / are coming in. I don't think teams are going to really be bringing people back. Also, I am going to blame Red Bull for 3 different things when it comes to Sergio Perez. 1, Christian Horner. Boo! He admitted that they did not listen to Checo in Barcelona of 2023 with the floor problem. Okay, so that touched on he was having an issue. Second thing is Red Bull did not necessarily listen to their drivers. So obviously, okay, Checo's never won a world championship. If I was running a team and I had to pick, I would also listen to Max Verstappen over Checo. But they struggled so badly with their car, mainly because they weren't necessarily listening. And then the third thing is I think Checo could have gotten one of the other seats, like specifically with like Audi or something, if they had let him go, like if they had told him he was not being renewed at the middle of the season.
Well, instead they renewed.
Exactly.
They re-signed his contract and then dropped him, which I think is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, that's even worse.
And I agree. I think he probably could have got a mid-tier seat somewhere, which is, you know, we have the grid that we have. I'm a big proponent of rookies. I'm a big proponent of people coming up through Formula One. So I'm happy that we have so many, you know, drivers under 25 joining the grid. But I do agree. I think Checo absolutely would have been a contender for something like a Sauber seat, maybe the spare seat at Alpine. I don't know.
See, I was going to say Alpine too.
I was going to say Alpines have everyone at the moment, so...
They're collecting drivers like they're Pokemon cards.
Oh, let's not go through the Alpine. Alpine are going to come up later. So let's hold those thoughts and move on to the next award.
Yes.
The Brosadies Kinda Award for the most iconic on and off track friendships. And the nominees are Bottas and Zhou, the kings of TikTok, Max and Lando, enemies to lovers and back again, Checo and Q1, soulmates.
And the winner is... Max and Lando, enemies to lovers, and back again.
Yay!
By the way, that's my favorite rom-com movie of the year.
On your silver screens in June 2025.
Thank you.
Starring Brad Pitt and the safety car.
Oopsie.
Between the new Drive to Survive season and the F1 movie, I feel like my entertainment for this year is set.
Yeah, completely.
Absolutely.
But, you know, we wrote these awards before the whole Max and George beef started. Or I feel like they could have ended up here. But yeah, Max and Lando, it's nice to see that they are friends and that they are still chill. Obviously, Lando's end of season comment, I think, went a long way after Max won the championship. I think they went a long way to helping. But, you know, Lando also won a championship with his team, so he probably feels a lot better now that he's got a trophy under his belt. Probably not the one he personally wants, but, you know.
Yeah, I guess everyone, like both of them, got some of the happiness they wanted. I mean, Max, obviously, he won, and that's what he needed for a comeback. And then, of course, Lando won with his team, and unfortunately, Ferrari didn't win. But anyway.
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about that.
What's your take on this little situation as a Max fan and Lando's, let's say, not biggest fan?
A Lando hater.
Not a hater, no. A hater is a strong word.
He was in my top 5, but then Oscar replaced him, and now Nico has replaced Oscar. So sorry, McLaren. It was entertaining. I feel like it was a one-off. Not one-off. It was like one-sided, because I feel like with Max, he was more of like, don't care what's going on. You do you. Especially after Austria, Max was just living his best life, really. Yeah, it was quite funny. Like, especially people online thinking it was like, I saw quite a few people thinking it was like going to be the next Mercedes, which no one can top those two. Like, there's never going to be a Mercedes again. So yeah, it was quite funny.
That's what the kinda is for in this particular awards title, I feel like, because we're never gonna get teammates who would have known each other since their karting days, the way that Lewis and Nico grew up together and solidified that relationship, only for it to fall slightly apart, but then come back together.
I always think about Nico just throwing that hat at Lewis in the cool down room whenever I think of Mercedes. They're such catty little...
Just a little honorable mention on the fact that Lewis was witness to quite a lot of this little, beef is a strong word, but the enemies to lovers
Saga.
path that Max and Lando were on, because
Yeah, Silverstone.
and the cool down room for that tension that was in that room, because the man wanted to enjoy his win.
And then Lewis third wheeling and be like, am I in the right space? Should I leave? But that's the thing, that's what the media wants anyway. So they want to make stories.
Yeah, he was witnessing a bit of a very small percentage of what he went through with Nico way in the past, but not even close to that tension. So he was just the dad who was looking at that.
Lewis is to Max and Lando like Vettel was to Lewis and Nico.
Grandad.
I see that.
I want to talk about the other nominees again, because mainly I want to talk about Bottas and Zhou on TikTok. Shout out to the Sauber admin. Savannah's crying because her TikTok account got blocked this morning because she's American. Shout out to the Sauber TikTok admin for getting those boys involved. And shout out to those boys for getting involved every goddamn time. The content is stuff we could only dream of making. We love the content.
It was so refreshing to see, especially because Bottas now on his own little project journey, I feel like has learned so much from taking part in Sauber TikToks, because he's doing his own take on most of them.
That is very true. To be fair, I mean, I guess Bottas is one of the most creative drivers in terms of social media. Honestly, he goes out of the box to find few things to keep people entertained. Like, even let's say if he didn't go to Mercedes, I guess he would have found a way to always stay in our For You pages, trust me. Because, I mean, all thanks to Sauber. So thank you so much to the social media team. If you need us, please shout.
I'm really good at Canva Pro.
She is. She did her wedding invites in it.
I did my wedding invites in every bride does their wedding invites in Canva Pro now, unless you've got money. Anyway, Savannah, we're sorry that you don't have TikTok. We will.
We will
I don't know what we'll
scroll
do.
on our For You pages for you.
I'll screenshot.
We will hold space.
Thank you. My thing is, yes, let's give the Sauber admin and drivers credit where credit is due. I would also like to point out, it's not like they had much else going on. So that was pretty much the only thing that was their selling point in saving grace. Like, yeah, we can't get much higher than P19 and P20, but what we can do is get on the ground and pretend to swim in rain.
Beautiful. The best cinematic piece I've seen all season.
It's better than La La Land.
So much better.
I need my SCU, Sauber Cinematic Universe.
But that's the thing. That's why they're so good. If they cannot celebrate a win, or if they cannot basically show the progress of the team, at least the contingency and the creativity out of the team to basically just see, we're not winning. We know that. We have so many issues. We know that. But we are basically giving you what you want. Like, you can go to any other team or any other fan and tell them which team has the best social media. They're all going to say Sauber, regardless of their favorite teams, because they're doing such a good job.
I do love the C Squared videos, which are sadly RIP.
Absolutely, of course.
The C Squared videos were iconically good.
I'm only seeing, again, sorry, Savannah, on TikTok. The only edits I'm seeing now is C2 and Bad Bunny's new song. So Literally, that's all over my For You page, and it's making me miss them even more.
I'm seeing that, but as Lewis and Mercedes, I'm not even. Oh my god, it's so. They're really they're funny, but they also make you be a bit in your feels sort of thing.
Also, I would just like to draw attention to the Bad Bunny song, and that song is like so sad, but it's like, first of all, it's in Spanish, so it's like it sounds kind of upbeat, and then when you look at the lyrics in English, because I don't understand Spanish, it's like, I should have taken more photos when I had the chance and given you hugs and kisses. Oh, okay, let me just get out the box of tissues. Like, what the heck do you mean you should have taken more photos and given me kisses and hugs when you had me? Also, the one, like the edits with Checo.
What do we think about those Checo edits now that he's no longer at Red Bull or coming back anytime soon?
Heartbroken. So yeah, bye.
Off a pop.
Literally off I pop.
Okay. I mean, that kind of segues us onto our last nominee, which is Checo and Q1. Soulmates. That was really mean. I just realised I wrote that, and that's really mean.
I mean, now we didn't know he was not going to be back when we wrote
That's
this.
true. At the point we wrote this, he still had a contract renewal.
Wow, kicking the man while he's down and unemployed and cheats on his wife.
I didn't kick him while he was down and unemployed. I kicked him when he was up and employed. Maybe not up.
He still cheats on his wife.
Still cheats on his wife with Ukrainian models.
Allegedly.
In Monaco yachts. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, that's true. We don't know if they're Ukrainian or from another country. So
I also would cheat on Checo's wife. Because she's not my wife.
Well, hey, you got me there. You got me there.
You can't make me stay with that woman. She's got a husband.
Hey, you can't make me not cheat on this other man's wife.
I'ma do it. Okay, on to the next award.
Okay, wait, hold on. In this hypothetical situation, do you still have your fiancé or no?
No, has to be no.
No, it can't be yes. Otherwise I am cheating on someone.
Well, not Checo's wife.
In this circumstance, I'm not cheating on Checo's wife and Andrew doesn't exist.
The next award is
the Dad Who Stepped Up Award for drivers or teams who stepped on us all. And the nominees are Oscar Piastri, from rookie to a consistent podium threat. Ollie Behrman for P7 in Saudi Arabia. Alpine, the pink Brazilian demons.
And the winner is Oscar Piastri, from rookie to a consistent podium threat.
I don't think anyone could disagree with that.
Absolutely.
I can. Ollie was robbed.
Oh, yeah, Ollie was
Yeah,
robbed.
of
I do
course.
actually agree with that. But I don't think you could disagree that Oscar has gone from rookie to consistent podium threat.
Yeah, I mean, in 2 years, obviously the car was a lot different from when Lando stepped up or when Carlos or Daniel were in the team. But 2 years, that's insane. I really do think in the next 5 years, he will be getting a WDC.
100%.
Definitely. Just out of all the rookies that we've seen going back to 2019, because that was the biggest wave we've seen in a few years, ignoring this year for now. He is the most, I don't know where he gets it from or what his mindset is, but he's the most composed driver on the grid, even when some situations this season didn't exactly go in his favor.
I think he's just a very dry kind of person. And I think McLaren's admin on social media have finally started picking that up because they're not asking him to do the whole like silly stuff. They're getting him to do a lot more sarcastic, dry humour, which I think fits with him a lot better.
I wouldn't put him in a dry box. You can tell he's a bit of an introvert to a certain extent. I would like to think he acts quite differently when he's with people he trusts and a bit more in a slightly safer space than on the McLaren social media apps.
But yeah, I also just appreciate the way he handles tricky situations. It's like you see how he behaves in front of the media in general, like with his team. It's like compared to Lando, which is his own mate, basically, in the same team. Like, that man has so much composure to show in front of tricky situation if something is going wrong or it's not going his way, compared to Lando. I mean, not even Lando, we can take any example. When emotions come in, they react in a certain way that they might regret later. But with Oscar specifically, like, he was dropped from his first win. Let's all agree that that one was not his first win anyway. But still, he didn't show the emotions, or he didn't show what basically the media wanted him to show, which is a win for him. So actually, Oscar is, I believe, has a really great career, and in the next few years, he'll definitely have the championship.
And we can't wait to see it.
At the same time, I do kind of miss the period of time when drivers were just petty and when they were just kind of bitchy to each other.
It's fine. We have Max and George for that.
It was exactly. It's entertaining. We're not seeing these real people. We're seeing their caricatures. We're seeing their public personas. And if their public personas want to provide me with entertainment in the form of a cat fight on the podium, like, people watch The Real Housewives. Are you telling me you wouldn't watch George Russell and Max Verstappen wearing cocktail dresses and throwing red wine over each other? You absolutely would.
I would pay more than we paid for Silverstone to see that.
100%.
I have been saying for ages.
Exactly. I'm impressed by Oscar, but also bring back Catty F1.
I fully agree with Becca. So all I've been asking for is the catty F1 drivers back. But no, we get them. Bleh. You get what I mean? But bring them back.
We get the blur. Yeah, you're right,
blur.
Emma. You say that.
Bring Kimi back. Bring Kimi back.
Bring Kimi back. Bring back the Iceman. Bring back Daniel Kvyat.
If you guys, a little sidetrack, but if you want to see anything petty lately, I've been watching the endurance races that have been going on just to get through before the start of the F1 season, to have some sort of drama going on. And it's been pretty dramatic for the last couple of months that I've seen. So if anyone wants a bit of drama, turn to endurance racing a little bit. They've been very petty lately.
I was going to say, IndyCar as well. I know one of the races before they stopped, one of the drivers had got out and started flipping off the other driver. And I was like, why can't we have that in F1? Could you imagine Lewis Hamilton flipping off George?
Yeah, no, we do.
Exactly.
Liam Lawson gives people the finger, and that is why he is my new favourite driver. That's a lie. That's a lie.
No one can ever replace Carlos for you.
Carlos, man, Carlos.
Carlos forever, but like, Liam Lawson is providing me with the catty entertainment that I desire as a fan of reality TV.
Is he in your top 5 now?
Liam Lawson? I don't know if I really have a top 5.
My dream this coming season would be if we see...
a Williams World Drivers' Championship. Sorry.
Well, that too. But if we see Max and George make up, it would only be because they're teaming up against Liam.
That's a good point, actually. That is a good point.
You're just asking for 2 grown men to gang up on someone who is essentially fresh out of his teen years.
I mean, he already has beef with everyone.
Exactly. He's already fighting with everyone.
Ask Fernando.
I too have beef with Fernando Alonso, but that's for different reasons that I don't want to get into right now. Anyway, on to the next award.
Before we go, just one thing. If you guys are actually looking for pettiness, don't forget we have Isaac on the grid next year. Thank you.
Oh, and Gabby. Isaac and Gabby brought together again. Can't wait.
Hey, what's the gap?
How many seconds to Bortoletto?
93?
127?
We can do this, guys. We can still do this.
The Multi 21 Award for the best radio messages of 2024. And the nominees are... Ricky, these are not new inters. Which inters is this? Hello? Carlos Sainz. I need a bit of encouragement, mate. George Russell. Fuck me, this is boring. I should have brought a pillow. Max Verstappen.
And the winner is... Fuck me. This is boring. I should have brought a pillow. Max Verstappen.
Yay! Oh my god. Actually, that sounded like Siri.
Monaco 2024.
It was boring.
Boring race. Sorry.
It was boring.
It was.
Max was right. I am so sad that Ricky, these are not new inters, didn't win.
Yeah, me too. I expected that one.
So funny. We will put out a little slideshow of the percentages of how much people voted. But yeah, it's not close between Ricky, these are not new inters, and fuck me, I should have bought a pillow. Max is a funny guy when he wants to be. And we're talking about petty F1. That's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, he wasn't even, I don't think he was even trying with this one. People just tied into it because of the way Monaco kind of wrapped up to be, which is always the case. I wanted to see, this is going to be slightly controversial for some people, but if I would have seen Monaco 2022 instead, that would have been slightly better.
I mean, yeah, it was quite long, but I'm just happy that it gave us a Charles win because it was his home race. Yes, quite long, didn't have so many overtakes, didn't have the enjoyment that Monaco used to give, yes, but at the same time, kind of enjoy it as well because it was Charles win and the emotions and his team, Ferrari celebrating him and so on. That was quite touching.
And I think it was the start of the George Russell train that we've seen a few times this season.
Choo-choo.
Just that gap between between where George was, just holding space for
himself. And for Cynthia Erivo.
I was going to say, the only thing Monaco was actually fine, well, actually not fine, because it affected me, was the Kevin, Checo and Nico crash. After that race was the most boring race I've ever watched. And if I started watching Monaco 2024 as my first race, you'd never see me watching F1 again.
You wouldn't care about F1.
Don't get me wrong, you had a real...
It is the definition of millionaires driving in circles.
Yeah, it was good for Charles. He finally won his home race. Do you think the curse is going to go on to the next year? Maybe, because it's Charles we're talking about. But, sorry, Sav. But...
it's Ferrari we're talking about. I until I see that Ferrari car perform well, I don't ever have that much confidence that they're gonna...
It's also Ferrari with Lewis we're talking about, so please let's have some fun.
No.
Girl, as the longest standing Ferrari fan here, you are not gonna sit there and tell me to have Ferrari home. You are going to learn how to be a Ferrari fan.
I'm gonna learn the hard way. Let me learn the hard way.
That's fine. But hold space for the fact that I've been doing this for fucking 20 years.
Okay, also, hold on. I went to the F1 exhibition yesterday, and I found out that the reason why Monaco got so popular was because of Grace Kelly and how her influence brought the effect of Hollywood into Monaco. But also, let's hold out hope for the 2026 regulations, okay? And the fact that the smaller car will make a difference in the passing and everything.
100%.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, no, the F1 cars have become just boats.
Yeah.
They're huge. And they don't need to be this huge. So a smaller car, more space, easier to pass.
And also, the reason why Monaco 24 was so boring was the fact that there was that crash at the beginning. And they didn't have mandatory pit stops during the race because they were able to complete their pit stops before. Now, it would have been more interesting had people's tires began to give out, but they didn't necessarily do that. Also, the tire whisperer, Charles, he probably would have been fine even if people's tires did begin to give out.
Going back a little bit to that boats comment, because I'm actually looking up the dimension of one. The way it's kind of changed since the 1950s up until today, it's insane how much wider they've gotten with the way that they used to be. I want to see, get me back the 1990s F1 car.
I really, really miss the turbo hybrid era.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
I mean, the ground effect era is fine. Bring me back turbo hybrid. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
That's why 2026 is quite exciting, because we're going to get smaller cars. And it's a shame because Monaco is one of my favourite tracks, so I really wish I can enjoy it.
And, eventually we are all going to move there into the small penthouse, so if it could get more exciting,
exactly, that's
then
the
we'd
thing,
have a nice race on our doorstep.
Yeah, nice view. Thank you.
And the next award, I think we circle back to Savannah.
The Max Let Checo Through, Please award for the most memorable drama within a team. And the nominees are Sergio Perez versus Max Verstappen. Did Max undercut all of us? Oscar Piastri versus Lando Norris. Papaya rules. Carlos Sainz versus Charles Leclerc. Say it in Spanish.
And the winner Oscar Piastri versus Lando Norris papaya rules.
Woo!
Okay.
Not the biggest margin of victory in this award. They stomped on them hoes.
But to be fair, I mean, it was quite predictable because papaya rules have affected every fan this season. Like,
I
all
personally
of us.
was unaffected by papaya rules, but okay.
Same, but that was the best thing that happened this season.
McLaren can do what they want.
Okay, listen.
Hold on. I was affected because of this one specific part. Okay. Oscar Piastri ducked on his first win podium because he thought Lando was going to hit him with the champagne, and then Lando did not hit him with the champagne. Oscar Piastri ducked. And that is so sad.
And then did he goose?
He actually ducked,
Right.
and then goosed.
Okay, I'm ready to be told off by Dan now.
Okay, go ahead. I'll mute you.
Let me just finish crying a little bit. Okay, we know McLaren's my favorite team. That's not a secret to anybody. I was a little bit heartbroken for the fact that Oscar's win wasn't what it should have been. And I will fully hold Zach Brown and Andrea Stella accountable for that. And somewhat the rest of the McLaren team. It was fingers very quickly started pointing in the direction of McLaren's leadership rather than any of their drivers, which I was actually very happy to see because it was the one moment this season where I've seen all the McLaren fans just kind of band together and realize the fact that Andrea Stella is not the nicest person on the grid. We all kind of knew that, we suspected it, but this really confirmed it. And I'm just saying...
Are you finally seeing my way of hating team principals and CEOs?
I am seeing your way. I have been seeing your way for a minute there, Em. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry it took me this long. As a little sidetrack, my initials are the same. I think we could easily replace me. If someone can teach me how to grow a beard, I would be a great team principal for McLaren. I don't see an issue.
Because that's all you need is a beard and the initials
That's
AS.
it. What else would
Are you
need?
implying that Dan has a beard?
No, okay. Are you listening?
No, I would need to grow one to like pass for Andrea Stella. I need to.
I think you're going to need to do a lot more.
Okay, that was the joke. She said all she needed to do was grow a beard because her initials are already AS. And then
I'm
I said,
autistic. I'm going to miss the point of jokes all the time. Are you doing a hate crime? I think Savannah's doing a hate crime right now.
okay. Okay.
The Looking Camp Right in the Eye Award for the most slay cunt queen boots the house down Mama Paddock Fitz. And the nominees are Lewis Hamilton for his commitment to Met Gala-worthy race day outfits, Lando Norris, how can one man own so many versions of the same shirt, and Zhou Ganyu, self-explanatory.
And the winner is... Lewis Hamilton for his commitment to Met Gala-worthy race day outfits. Woo!
Woo!
Yay!
Now, do we actually need to explain?
I don't think so.
I mean, he looks really good in red.
I mean,
Yeah,
we knew
okay.
he's going to win anyway in this category, didn't we?
Yes, so I would like to say if I was a fashion anything, like blog writer, TikToker, master's dissertation thesis, I could write an entire, probably 50,000 words on his Abu Dhabi weekend outfit of the slight transition from white to red. The symbolism between Mercedes white to the Ferrari red is just chef's kiss. Also, I would like to say, I think we should have included Max Verstappen in this for the Red Bull kit. Because they posted, I'm sure everyone saw it, like a black and white photo with him and Kelly Piquet where they had a cake that had G's and B's all over it. And I'm like, if that man was actually in a Red Bull kit for his baby gender reveal, that takes the cake, pun intended.
But regardless, I mean, Lewis would have won anyway.
Lewis would have won anyway.
Lewis.
Shout out to Zhou Guanyu. He's also been a bit of a fashionista this year. He's had some epic streetwear fits. Not that I'm... Listen to the sound of my voice. Do I sound like I know much about streetwear? But he looked great. Lewis Hamilton, very handsome boy. looks great in all of his fits. Anyone got anything else to add to the Looking Camp Right in the Eye award for the most Slay Cunty Queen boots the house down by mile paddock fits?
I just want to say that I cannot wait to see him in Ferrari clothes because he's gonna slay them.
One of the things that we did miss, because we're recording this at the moment that the Ferrari campaign started dropping for this year, and we've seen Charles model some of that.
Charles on the trampoline.
I would love to see Lewis in those campaigns as soon as possible. Like, I need to see his model skills at work because Mercedes didn't take as much advantage of that as they should.
I think Lewis's modelling is actually limited because he's got contracts with other high fashion brands. Like, he's got a Burberry contract.
Does Puma count as high fashion?
Probably not.
Okay, because that was for Puma. But also, I would just like to hold space for the meme of Charles jumping and then someone put the boots and a glove and a Michael Jackson hat and they said, Ferrari, hee hee.
Yeah, that was good.
Wow, that was so monotone. Like you didn't.
Again,
wow.
I'm autistic. Stop doing hate crimes.
Wow, it was good. Was it really?
It was good. I'm just disappointed. I edited him lying down having a little nap in an armchair and nobody thought it was funny. Literally nobody. So I'm not giving anyone who edited that meme at all space because mine did not do numbers.
Where did you send that?
It's a sticker.
It's a sticker in the
groups.
in the WhatsApp groups.
In ours or the big one?
The big one.
Okay, well
I'll send it to you later, don't worry.
Please.
Anyway, go on. And the next award.
The Off I Bop Award for the drivers or figures who stayed in the spotlight, for better or worse. And the nominees are Leo Leclerc for his menacing paddock behavior, Liam Lawson for giving everyone the middle finger, Sonny Hayes for getting hit by the safety car.
And the winner is Liam Lawson giving everyone the middle finger.
Woo!
Yay!
I'm so sad Sonny Hayes getting hit by the safety car didn't win this.
I'm so sad Leo didn't win.
I'm worried that people don't understand what that reference is and that's why they weren't voting
guess
for it.
maybe
Because
that's
that's
true.
the funniest thing in the world. This is Brad Pitt. Not Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Brad Pitt getting hit by the safety car on the straight for the F1 film. But we're not 100%.
We don't know for sure that's what's gonna happen, as in if that's gonna end up being in the movie, because it's gotten a lot of funny backlash from everyone who's an actor.
Burt Mylander committed homicide.
Who would have thought?
It's so funny. I'm so pissed. I know, Imane. I know you love that little pup, that little dog.
I know. I actually voted for him. It's okay. Leo Leclerc, we can actually be friends later on when we move to Monaco. All of
We
us.
can make content.
with him.
We could
Exactly.
definitely. I would be his social media manager. I'd manage
Literally,
Leo
yeah.
Leclerc's Instagram, and obviously we talked about Liam Lawson already.
Of course,
Funny
self-explanatory
guy.
again.
Funny guy.
Does anyone have a Liam Lawson favorite moment though for this past season? What do you think?
His
What was
beef with Fernando Alonso and Sergio Perez. Like, I say this as a Checo fan. That was absolutely funny, especially in Austin. Don't get me wrong, I panicked at certain bits, but thank you, Imane. But his beef with those two was funny. And yeah, I can't wait to see what beef he has with others.
The beefs. We look forward to the beefs. It's Sunday. I want my roast dinner. We're having beef.
Okay, side note. There's Arby's Arby's isn't a thing in England, but Arby's is a really good fast food restaurant in America, and their slogan is "We have the beefs." So I feel like that's gonna be Liam Lawson next season.
We could edit Liam Lawson in an Arby's hat.
You can definitely tell that to all the people on Red Note, where all the Americans are now.
With your Chinese spies.
Touche, Dan.
Fernando Alonso loves to complain. I also am a complainer, so I understand him. But his radio comment about Liam Lawson, top tier. Moving on.
The next award is
The Oops, I Done Did It Again Award for the biggest blunders of the season. And the nominees are Alpine's self-inflicted drive-through penalty in Las Vegas, the Franco-Brazilian triple smash, and James Vowles for opening his mouth again.
And the winner is... Of course, Alpine's self-inflicted drive-through penalty in Las Vegas.
Hilarious.
Absolutely.
Absolutely hilarious.
I think the major loss of this one is the fact that the Franco and Alex Brazilian triple smash got the least. Like, that was so iconic. Okay, yeah, sure, it was Brazil. But Williams went through it so bad this season. Again, Logan Sargent cursed them. Slay for him. Miss you, Pookie. See you in Barcelona on April 4th, 5th, and 6th. But, like, 3 times...
You're going to tell me you've got 2 cars and you crashed 3 times? Like, come on, Pooks.
They're overachievers.
I was expecting that from Alpines. Because of the French.
This is why they topped that Destructors Championship.
Okay, I just know James Vowell, like, went around the garage and said, hey, we're not going to drug test you for the next couple of weeks. There's cocaine in the bathroom. Like, they were working. There had to have been drugs involved in that. I mean, snorting, eating. Oh, okay, Nurse Becca.
I'm a pharmacist.
Oh, okay, pharmacist Becca. Okay, manager nursing home Becca.
I don't manage a nursing home.
I don't know, you put something big and important on your LinkedIn.
I became the senior care homes pharmacist.
Okay, senior care homes pharmacist.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, applause.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, Alpine's self-inflicted drive-through penalty is hilarious. The Franco-Alex Brazilian triple smash was iconic. James Vowles, they could never make me hate you because you are giving me the autistic vibes of the century. I too do not know when to stop talking.
But to be fair, I cannot tolerate seeing another video of him explaining the entire race after the race is done. I just can't see on my For You page anymore. It's like, it's too much. It's like as if he's a robot. Like he's like AI talking to me or something.
He is AI for all we know. We've never seen the man in person.
He could be he's like, what's that test called where you can't tell if it's a robot or a human? What's it called? Oh, is it the Turing test? A CAPTCHA. I can't remember, but there's a test that, like, there's like a thing, and it's like
the prove you're human button.
No, it's like an AI is so advanced. If you were talking to it, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's a computer. You think it's a human. I can't remember what it's called.
Sam, you genius.
James Vowles would fail on clicking on all the fire hydrants. That's all I'm gonna say.
Absolutely. You know who's gonna click on that button next year?
Carlos Sainz. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Exactly.
The Stir the Pot RuPaul Do You Want a Spoon Award for the wildest moments we didn't expect. And the nominees are Lewis to Ferrari, the start of the silly season, the resolution to the baguette war, and Daniel Ricciardo's Alpha Tauri stint. Short, sweet, and mildly confusing.
And the winner is Lewis to Ferrari, the start of silly season, which, might I add, is still going on. We have not got
Oh
a
my
break.
God, please don't remind me.
The season is so silly.
It's so silly that it carried on to the next season.
Literally, it's horrible. I mean, it caused Carlos losing his seat. Let me not reminisce that. But I know I like Lewis. I love Lewis. I know that. Trust me, don't give me the look. But Carlos lost his seat, and I don't have C2 anymore.
We don't have C squared, but we do get carbon. Officially carbon.
Yeah, carbonara. Exactly. That is very
We are
true.
now carbonaras. It is officially carbon. And because the season hasn't started, I'm still delulu that Carlos and Williams are gonna come through.
They're gonna win the world championship there.
Exactly. But I love his cute picture selfie with the Williams logo. That is very cute. And I feel like Williams are gonna treat him really well. So looking forward to it.
It's the fact that, like, if you watch the videos of him interacting with the Williams mechanics, they are kind of shocked by how
hands-on he is.
How hands-on he is. I don't know whether that's just because, you know, the drivers they've had in his seat before, Logan and Franco, weren't as experienced as he is in terms of Formula One racing. Like Carlos has been, this is like his 4th team.
Yeah, and it's like 10 years, 11 years or something like that. He's been in F1 for?
Yeah, he came in the same year as Max.
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah, so 10 years. Wow. That's the year I started university.
One of the things that, going back to our winner a little bit, Lewis to Ferrari, one of the things that I'm most excited about is to see how, and I hope for the better, the dynamics will change within Ferrari.
Oh, I can't wait to see the chaos.
I am a little bit nervous.
Lewis is renowned for not liking chaos and disorganization, and he's joining Ferrari, who are Italian.
Exactly, that was a wild choice.
Without speaking a word of Italian, mind you.
Ciao.
I mean, bold. Lewis has always been bold, so...
I do appreciate the fact that for right now, he seems very happy. We've seen the little images of like him with about 50 suitcases moving to Maranello.
And, you know, everyone thought he was insane when he went from McLaren to Mercedes. I don't think he's insane to go to Ferrari, but I do think for him, it's a bit of an odd pairing. Maybe he'll win another 7 world championships. Who fucking knows? I'm so excited.
How long do you think it would take for him to look really depressed after the first we are checking, or plan A?
That is one of the things that I want to touch on, though. We are about 3 days away from seeing him test in Italy. So
exciting!
He's testing this coming Wednesday, I want to say, weather conditions permitting. It's the first time we're going to see him behind the wheel of a Ferrari. It's the first time we're going to see how well he does in that car.
Is he driving the new car or the old car? I think he might be I think he's in the old car.
I think he's driving a spec of the old one, yes.
Yes, it's an old one.
But I'm very excited to see it. It's going to be our first impression.
It'll also be our first time to directly compare Charles and Lewis.
Exactly.
Because we'll know what sort of lap times Charles can set in that thing. And it'll be really interesting to see how those two are going to stack up. Because, let's be real, George really had Lewis's number this season. Like, you can just look at points and qualification positions. So it'll be really interesting to see how Lewis does with Charles as a teammate.
I cannot wait, because it's just going to chaos.
I think Lewis had already given up. I think his heart was he was over Mercedes, especially after Mercedes didn't give him the ambassador position that he wanted. That had to have felt like heartbreak and backstabbing for him to give Mercedes basically everything they are. Because without Lewis, they wouldn't have so many championships, you know? And so I think he kind of just gave up. But I will say, Charles has never been outscored by a teammate. He's always outscored his own teammates. So I am very interested to see how that shapes up. I do feel like there are parallels between Charles and Michael Schumacher in the way that, let me explain, hold on, only in the way that they both might race really hard. And I also feel like if Lewis was winning, like consistently, if Lewis was the leader of the championship, Charles would allow Ferrari to prioritize him so Lewis could win. That's just the vibes I get, because I think Charles plays the team player role a lot better than his previous teammates have.
Say it in Spanish.
That was a miscommunication.
That doesn't mean that he wasn't a petty bitch.
You can be petty and still be a good teammate.
I very doubt Charles. I think 5 races, he's going to be a good teammate. After the 5th race, and if Ferrari are doing what Ferrari do best, there's going to be tension. I can see it. Charles is Ferrari's golden boy. He beat 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel. He's always one-upped his teammates in qualifying and the races. Yes, how Ferrari are, but personally, having 2 number 1 drivers is going to be cause for chaos. It's like McLaren with Oscar and Lando having 2 number 1 drivers. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. And I know you're a Charles fan. and a Lewis fan, Sav, but it's going to be tough, especially with Ferrari, because they always do it.
As just a Lewis fan, everyone knows Charles is not in my top 5. He's not even close. As just a Lewis fan and seeing him go to Ferrari and trying to be as objective to this as I possibly can be, I think by Miami this season, we'll know where those dynamics stand, because they are taking on the most experienced F1 driver the most awarded F1 driver that we've ever seen.
I mean, he's not the most experienced. Fernando Alonso does exist.
Well, potato, a little bit with Fernando.
Okay, with papaya rules, listen. Lando has nothing to show. Okay, and let me clarify that. Compared to Lewis Hamilton's achievements, his world championships, his podiums, his poles, okay, Lando did not have that. Does not have that. So with McLaren and Oscar, and like the Oscar Lando McLaren thing, it technically makes sense on a technicality, not to me, but on a technicality, for them not to prioritize one over the other. Because up until this season, both Lando and Oscar were going in with the same amount of wins. 0. Okay.
The technicality of that, just a side note, the technicality of that lies in the fact that they didn't have a good car for about 3 to 4 years.
And that's understandable, you know, but with Lewis, you cannot compare someone who Ferrari has brought through their academy to someone who has 7 World Time Championships. Maybe Charles will get petty. Maybe he will. Okay. We haven't seen him with an actual competitor whose heart is with Ferrari, which, listen, stop. I know we had Sebastian Vettel. Okay.
Carlos Sainz.
No, okay. He outscored Carlos consistently.
Yeah, but it's the heart with Ferrari bit that I'm going to take issue with. Like, no one can...
Exactly, me too.
No one can deny the fact that Charles has outscored his teammates, but I don't think you could say that Seb and Carlos weren't committed Ferrari drivers.
Absolutely.
No. I'm saying that was a twofer. Consistent battle, competition, and extreme love for Ferrari.
Yeah, but those are the only 2 Ferrari teammates he's ever had.
Sav, your bias is showing really hard.
Sav, take
right
your glasses off.
Your bias is showing really hard.
On that note, we will see how Lewis and Charles do. We don't have too long to wait right now. We have just about 2 months. We're almost there. We'll see how Lewis does in a Ferrari in a couple of days. And we'll see what the season holds.
I just have to get it out of my chest. Carlos Sainz was a really good teammate.
And
Thank
also,
you.
he would have stayed with Ferrari if Ferrari would have kept him, but they swapped him for Lewis, and you can't blame them. I would swap most men for Lewis Hamilton.
Carlos had passion.
And Carlos Sainz.
Savannah, don't.
No, listen. No, I'm not. Carlos is an amazing person, I'm sure. Okay, despite the fact that he never posted his girlfriend of 4 years, but then immediately posted his new girlfriend.
You have no clue what that means.
I don't. I'm just throwing that out there for Giggies. No, I love Carlos at Williams. And I do, just because I love Charles the most.
She did specify at Williams. She loves him at Williams.
Williams is going to be my second or third team that I support this season. Not first, but we'll see. I think it'll be interesting. I would like to see if he gets on the podium, because, Williams haven't done that in a while.
I'll go curse the cars. Yeah, I'm going to curse every single car so Carlos gets on the podium. Done. You're welcome.
Thank you, Emma.
I thought you said you were going to curse his car. And I said, that's actually the opposite of what I want. But my thing is that just Charles has been the most, extreme. I'm not going to say dedicated. I'm going to say extreme Ferrari driver there has been in the past couple of years because of what it means to him.
I think it's also the fact that he's had Ferrari's backing the entire time. Like, Ferrari have never turned their back on him, whereas they have with other drivers. So it's a lot easier to stay committed to someone when they are committed to you.
It's reciprocal as well. Like, it's a relationship. It's a win-win relationship when you know that the team loves you. I'm not saying Ferrari didn't love Carlos, but with Charles it was different. Like, you could see, it's not love, it's obsession, which is fair enough. It's reciprocal. That's why you're given...
It's a bit of a toxic relationship.
Yeah, and also that's why you give so much. Like, when you're in a company and they love you, you're going to give them more than you should, or more than what you feel you're going to give them, right? That's why when I said Carlos, when he joined Williams, the amount of love they showed him, I was shocked too, because those people were actually so in awe, in obsession. They just wanted him to be there, and they're showing it to him. So I'm not saying they are not loving Charles, they're not loving Charles and Ferrari. They do, but he's not the best teammate you think he can be, because Charles had his moments of selfishness.
Williams also didn't expect Carlos to be that committed when he joined. I feel like that took them by surprise in the best way possible. And we'll see how the dynamics play out this season. I personally am hoping for a Lewis win at Ferrari. I'm hoping for a Carlos win at Williams.
I'm really hopeful because of how committed Ferrari have been to Charles and because of how much they have invested in him and time that he's given to them, that they do have some form of success together, that they will win a trophy together. I don't really care whether it's a DC or a CC, but I do really, really want Ferrari to win something while Charles is there. Because Charles can't stay with Ferrari forever. Eventually, a new Charles Leclerc will appear. And
Ollie Behrman, we're looking at you.
Ollie Behrman, eventually Charles will leave Ferrari and he will do what Seb did and jump to the back of the field and then retire. But
Sav, he will. It's
Hold on. It's the jump to the back of the field. Can't he just retire or go to like Red Bull or something?
He's not the type of driver who would retire for another top tier team outside of Ferrari.
I'm sorry, but
He
That's
would
what I'm saying.
not.
Can't he just retire with Ferrari?
he could just retire with Ferrari, but I just imagine him doing the same thing that Seb did, which is go to a midfield team or a backfield team like Aston Martin, as was when Seb was there, and then retire is how I would see it. But if he retired from Ferrari, I wouldn't be surprised either.
But I cannot see Charles going to Red Bull. No way. I could not see, especially if Max is still there, because we saw videos of them when they were karting, the whole incident thing. The way Max and Charles are, they would fight to the death. Granted, I'd love to see that, but there's no way Charles would go to Red Bull, especially after being in Ferrari.
Also, if Charles gets a Red Bull seat before Yuki, Emma will fight, and she's ready.
Yeah, and also let's just wait and see how the dynamic is going to play out with Ferrari as well. We never know. We might have another papaya rule with Ferrari and we're checking in all of that.
Horse rules.
Oh, exactly. Horse rules and... Exactly. We might have the same thing because they have two experienced drivers and they have Lewis Hamilton. I don't know how it's going to play out, to be fair, and if they're going to prioritize him or Charles or whatever. So I guess this year is going to be changing in terms of the dynamic and also in terms of Ferrari rules of what they want to do in the future.
It is kind of the fear of the unknown at the moment.
I'm looking at both Sav and Dan. Sorry, Dan. I'm looking at both Sav and Dan, obviously being Lewis and Charles fans. And I actually cannot wait to see what's going to happen, because I know Imane and Becca, you're also Ferrari fans, especially someone who doesn't support teams. And I like Charles. Lewis isn't in my top 5. I can't wait to see from a perspective that doesn't support really those drivers and team. I can't wait to see the chaos, especially I can see just general headaches between Dan and Sav. And it's going to be fun. I'm so sorry. I'm getting looks.
We'll still be friends. It's going to be okay. We'll still be friends.
We can have a boxing match.
Yeah, speak for yourself, Dan.
Friendship over with Dan. Lewis Hamilton is my new best friend.
No, I'm kidding. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I mean, I feel like with her already loving Franco and me having to support Logan until the end of the season, and now I feel kind of legally obligated to support Jack for the first little bit.
Oh yeah, no, I think we can all safely say that we're gonna will Jack Doohan round that track to stay on the track. Dan is excluded because she's biased, but maybe Pierre Gasly could fly into the sun.
All I'm gonna say is the way I will pray.
I would not hate that idea.
Let the French fly. Let the French leave.
If you gave me Jack and Franco on the same team, I would love that.
If Jack gets dropped.
Bye-bye, Pierre.
And they need to make that car pink.
I will make that car pink if you give me Jack and Franco on the same team. Catch me with paint outside Alpine's doorstep.
I don't think they'd be very fond of you if you came and added extra weight to their car.
No, I would just scrap off the blue and put it pink. Painted pink.
Anyway, on to our final voted for award, as voted for by the public.
The Torpedo Award for those who stole the show off track. And the nominees are Martin Brundle, Gridwalk Chaos, always, GP, King of the Radio, and Sebastian Vettel's giant Senna helmet. Put it in my backyard.
And the winner is Martin Brundle, Grid Walk Chaos, always.
Woo!
Yay! Woohoo! To be fair, the day Martin would retire, I will have a meltdown, like a meltdown, a breakdown, whatever.
We're all already crying because Will is retiring.
So, a bit of behind-the-scenes gossip here from here at A Polite Notice Productions. This award was a tie between Martin Brundle and Sebastian Vettel's giant Senna helmet for the longest time, and we were so worried that we'd have to debate a decider between us. And then in the last week, Martin Brundle absolutely stormed through and took it. People love the Brundle. Also, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but there was a grid walk that Martin and Bernie did together where they were explaining who the kind of extra people stood around the car were. And it was so interesting because Bernie Collins is a font of all racing knowledge. More of them.
Exactly. I don't want celebrities.
To be fair, not only that, it's just him with random celebrities. Yeah, exactly. We're him with random celebrities and just having those interviews. It's hilarious.
When Jackie Stewart had to go up to who was it, and literally
the tennis player Rafa Nadal.
I think it was Miami when Jackie
Stewart nearly got tackled by security.
Yes, that was funny.
Not only that, it was also Martin with Mbappe's security when Mbappe wanted to talk to Mbappe, and then the security was just like, do not talk to him. And he was like, I'm just a fan here. I'm not a footballer here. And I'm just like, Martin, you king.
Whenever a celebrity screens Martin Brundle and just walks past him, I'm like, right, you're now on the ops list. I will fight you. You talk to... If Martin Brundle wants to talk to you, you talk to Martin Brundle.
Thank you, regardless if you know him or not. But it's Martin. You should know him at least.
He's holding a big old Sky Sports. You're at the Formula One. He's holding a big Sky Sports microphone. Why are you at the Formula One if you don't care about Formula One? Give me the grid pass in place of bloody Mbappe.
Yes, please.
Thank you. And they're walking on the grid like you're supposed to talk, not ignore people, especially journalists. Ignore fans. That's what you always do anyway. But you're ignoring journalists when they're trying to get your take on the race. And they're like, no, I'm just a fan here. I'm not a celebrity. You are a celebrity, want it or not. But you need to speak to bloody journalists. And on top of them, Martin freaking Brundle.
You're on the grid during the grid walk.
Martin, if you ever need someone to help you get past all the security for celebrities,
I will fight them.
We're available. Call us up.
The Martin Brundle Security Force.
We will make sure you get your interview. Don't you worry about it.
I'm 5'3", but I'll still help. I promise.
I'm 5'9" and I can sit on people.
Imane, because we're what 5'3", 5'4". We can hit down below, especially if they're males.
Absolutely, exactly. I can only see legs.
Or you could very easily sneak past down below and then just grab the celebrity's legs, get them past their security and in front of Martin Brundle.
I love you, Dan. You're creative, and I love that.
And also, shout out to Sebastian Vettel.
You do stop and talk if it's Martin Brundle.
Wiped all my nail polish off of my thumb. Yeah, and you can tell which celebrities, when they're there, are actually there for the Formula One, are actually there to see racing, and who is there for the Instagram pics.
Exactly. I mean, if it's Hailey Bailey, for example, it's fine. Interrupt it. Don't even talk to her.
She doesn't know what's going on.
She's there to just post it. Yeah, she's just there to post it. Or, for example, what's her name? Kiara, whatever. Kiara. These people don't even talk to them because just there to see sexy men, as they basically show on their TikToks. But if you're a celebrity and you are in sports as well,
particularly if you're a sportsman,
exactly,
yeah.
if you're sports like tennis player, rugby, basketball, football, and you do not expect to be interviewed, my man, you're mistaken. Just go and then watch from your hotel room or watch from somewhere else because people are there to interview you.
The Hilton is right there on the grid. Just look outside your balcony. You don't even need to step out if you don't want to be interviewed.
I was going to say, there's a few football players that stop and talk.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. And they are not on the ops list.
Exactly.
But if you ignore Martin Brundle, you're on the ops list.
Automatically, yes.
Yeah. And the thing is, what's worse than the actual drivers? They're the drivers who have most of the pressure on them. Stop and talk to Martin Brundle. who are you? You're just like there, roaming around in your most expensive clothes and glasses, and you still don't want to talk to Martin Brundle. Like, who are you? Genuinely.
If I was on the grid and Martin Brundle was like, yo, Bex, you want to talk? I'd be like, yeah, cool, right, what we yapping about, Martin? I'll go get some martinis in.
Exactly. And if you don't have enough time, hop on a polite notice. We all want to talk to you.
Our links are in the description.
Open invitation, Martin, whenever you're ready.
Open invitation. Anyway, we have one final award that was not voted on, but given how our podcast has been yapping over the years, we felt that we had to do an award called
the Small Penthouse in Monaco Award. For the driver who has caused so much damage to their car, the team could have bought a small penthouse in Monaco. Maybe not Monaco. Maybe Nice? La Tourbie.
I did look into the cost of a small penthouse in Monaco. No driver actually produced enough damage to buy a penthouse in Monaco, but you could in Nice. We could buy a penthouse in Nice or in La Tourbie, which is also very close to Monaco. Monaco adjacent.
Exactly. La Tourbie is quite close. Yeah, La Tourbie is quite close, so we can actually go and use a cab, all of us, to basically commute.
Exactly. It's not very far. You're basically in Monaco without paying Monaco prices. So the winner of the small penthouse in La Tourbie is Sergio Perez.
Yay! Thank you, Sergio!
Thank you, Checo.
For his $4.9 million of damage, we could get probably a house in La Tourbie. It doesn't even need to be a penthouse. In Monaco, for 4.9 million, you could maybe get a broom closet, but...
See, Emma, it's not all bad at the end of the day. Even though he caused damage, it's beneficial for us. Your favorite driver is buying us a penthouse. How great that is, to be fair. Even Lando, even Charles, even Carlos didn't think of us that much. But Checo was thoughtful and considerate. So thank you, Checo.
He's now contractually obligated to buy us that penthouse in Monaco because he caused so much damage. So Checo, we will liaise with your people. Your people can talk to our people, and we'll arrange.
Can you also send me free merch?
And next season, we will be recording from Monaco.
All the merch that didn't sell.
I mean, let's not make too many demands of the man. We're already asking for $4.9 million.
I want merch.
You have so much already.
No, I don't. I've got a few tops, a few hats.
Checo, sponsor this podcast as well. Thank you.
Cool. Anyway, congratulations to all of our winners. We have, let's just do a really quick rundown of the winners again. We have Danica Patrick. We have Max Verstappen. We have Max and Lando. We have Oscar Piastri. We have Max Verstappen again. We have Oscar and Lando. God, there's a theme. Lewis. Liam Lawson, Alpine self-inflicted drive-through penalty, Lewis to Ferrari, Martin Brundle, and Sergio Perez's small penthouse in Monaco. Woo! Woo! So that has been the 2024 Giggies. Congratulations to all our winners. And you know what? For some of the awards, congratulations to the losers, because you don't really want to win that one.
That is very true. Well done.
Any final thoughts, ladies? Anyone want to comment on any of the awards? Or...
To be fair, I just want to say that this season was quite the season. We had so much fun. We wouldn't have had the Giggies or a polite notice without it. So a special thanks to this season. I guess the real winner of all of these awards is this season because it made us all meet. It made us actually start this podcast, have amazing friends of all of you, of course, and just enjoy it. So on that note, actually, I am quite excited to see what next season has for all of us and to have amazing discussions with all of you ladies, and also not so intense because we're all friends at the end of the day, but I'm quite excited. What do you guys think?
I can't wait to cover an entire season with you ladies here on the pod. I don't know about any of you guys, but it's been a real learning curve these past 6 or so episodes, even just learning how to set up a microphone and yabba in a interesting and entertaining way has been really good fun. So yeah, can't wait for next season.
You are a natural at it. So all you needed was the mic, really.
What can I say? It's years of being over dramatic have really come in handy.
Love you all.
Here's to 2025.
Here's to 2025. If I had a Prosecco, I would raise it.
Here's to chaos.
Here's to chaos and rookies.
Another formidable season.
Formidable.
I have about 2 bottles of champagne waiting to be opened, so we're going to save them for special occasions.
I still have the Ferrari champagne.
We still need to drink that. Take it to Silverstone.
We're taking that to Silverstone at this rate, yeah.
We'll drink it on the way up to Silverstone, because Andrew's driving. All right, so that is the end of the Giggies. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed listening to us hand out our first year of awards. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and follow us on Instagram. And if you're not American, TikTok at A Polite Notice Pod. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Does Alex really have to know that?